Look, you are not tired of dating. You are tired of being disappointed, being let down, date after date, not finding the right person, or maybe you're struggling with even getting matches or even going on dates. So it all just feels so exhausting. And then you start to play the narrative in your mind. Yes, that familiar voice that always comes out. Maybe I should just be alone forever. Maybe I'm just happier on my own. I don't need a relationship. F that. So what do? You delete the dating apps and then you're back on them again at some point. Or you just resent dating entirely. You want to find somebody, you're intentionally dating, but you're exhausted and you feel just so freaking burned out. But here's the truth. It's not dating. Okay, well, elephant in the room. I mean, you're dating. It's probably got to do a little bit with dating here, but the reality is it's about how you date. It's about how you show up. And I always say, make dating work for you. Stop working around the way that you think dating should be. And then maybe things will change just a little bit. And I hope to give you a little bit hope here to kind of dive in today. Some ways that we can work on together. Yes, I say together because we are hanging out on Carla Turned On right now. Ways that you can start to feel better because there's a lot of narratives going on in your mind. And I'm going to point out all that BS that is happening. Okay. And that is just stopping you from feeling good about yourself because now you're at the point where you're like, Carla, I can't stand dating. And maybe you're at the point where you're like, actually, Carla, I do like dating. Okay. This still applies to you. And also, of course, we are going to get into our taco about it, our taco section. Yes, I'm going to teach you how to make the best tacos. And we're going to have a little demo in just a moment here. Just kidding. Could you imagine? Oh my God, I think that's it. I think that I need to start giving dating advice and make different recipes for tacos. How freaking dope would that be? I know I'm digressing. So let's get back into the taco. We are going to talk all about today how hookup culture sucks sometimes because it's making you feel replaceable entirely. Without further ado, let's get into Welcome to Carla Turned On, where dating and relationships get real, sex gets talked about, and the BS gets left on red. Let's get turned on. If you've been dating for some time, or you've ever dated on and off, or you're dating right now, let's go over a familiar cycle. Yes, this familiar cycle. You're excited about dating. You feel hopeful. You're like, okay, I got this. I got this. And then all of a sudden you open the front door and you're like, oh my God, this world is big. This world's really large. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what to do. What's happening? I feel so lost. I feel so confused. And then you have the letdown. You have the freaking letdown. You're like, maybe I just board up the house. Maybe I just board it up with me inside. That's the key here. And I just put some nails in the walls with these boards, and I never have to go out there in that dating world again. Never have to see anything. Never have to experience, feel. Life is good because it is safe inside my boarded up house. But then you're like, oh, I'm tired of not seeing sunlight. I need my vitamin D. Side note, I have been taking vitamin D for years. Even when I was living in Los Angeles, I still was low on vitamin D. Okay, I know I'm digressing. Okay, you're not seeing the sun is what I'm trying to say. And you're just feeling very, very alone inside that house. So you're like, you know what? I'm gonna take some boards off. I'm gonna keep my windows boarded up. And I am just gonna now unboard the front door so I can open it and see what's out there. And that cycle repeats itself over and over again. But here's the catch, okay? You continue to keep the boards on the windows because you're exhausted. So you have some bumpers, some protection here, just trying to survive the great big dating world that's out there. That cycle, if it sounds familiar, it's because this happens to most people who have been dating because it can feel absolutely exhausting. It can be soul crushing. It can make you question yourself. It can make you question your worth. It can make you question if you'll ever meet anybody. It can even make you question humanity sometimes. But the goal is that we don't want you questioning everything. We want you dating from a way. I want you freaking dating from a way that feels confident and that is driven and led by you. So it is not the dating itself that is exhausting. It is the repetitive disappointment, the letdown that feels so hard. And these are the three things that you're probably feeling or have felt that feel absolutely soul crushing and exhausting. Starting with number one, getting your hopes up way too fast. Is it too good to be true? And this is normal. You meet somebody, you like them, you're excited about them. And I see the reverse of this. So you're out there, you open the door, you're in the sweet world of dating, and you meet somebody, and they're so nice, and they're so kind, and they're so freaking exciting. And you're just like, oh my God, this is so great. So you go on that first date, and I know you're thinking, could I marry this person? I could marry them. I could see a future with them. You go home from that date, you think, oh my God, this is amazing. This is great. And then you get the text, hey, sorry, not interested. Wish you the best. Not feeling it. It's not mutual, but wish you the best. And then you're just like, what? Or you go out with this person for a couple weeks and you a couple dates later and you're so excited. Oh my God, dating isn't so bad. I found them. And then you get the, hey, sorry, not interested. Not really wanting to move this forward. And you're like, oh my God, this is hard. This is really hard. Well, now I'm not going to get my hopes up at all with dating. So I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to just go into dating and I'm going to be just thick skinned about it. And I'm just going to, go in, play it cool, whatever. Just a date. I mean, whatever. And then you just become disillusioned because you're just like, you went from so hopeful to like not hopeful at all. And neither one is a good place to be in. So this is what I tell every single client to do who has been in this yin yang of this back and forth, this push and pull, the seesaw. It's like, bum, 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 bum. Yeah, anybody remember the seesaw? Okay, can we talk about how these just like don't exist on playgrounds anymore? Safety reasons, obviously, but I loved a good seesaw. So here's the deal. This is what you're going to do. You're going to go into dating with zero expectations. Zero expectations, it's going to be amazing. And zero expectations, it's going to suck. Okay? So then you're in neutral territory. You're not like, oh my God, hopes up so high. And oh my God, this sucks. So I need to prepare myself. You're just in a let's see what happens. Let's see what fucking happens mode. Because guess what? As Ellie Goulding sings, anything could happen. I'm not going to sing it right now. I can't hit that high note. There's no way. But like everybody you know what I'm talking about when she just like, you hear like the anything could happen in the beginning of the song. She comes in and like such good vibes. I know I'm such a millennial. All right. But I'm going to say this right now. You want to be in the place of neutral, but neutral doesn't mean that you don't have excitement and you don't have nervousness or some disappointment from the past in there. I want you to feel your freaking feelings, but I also don't want you to go in and set yourself up for these expectations of it's going to suck or it's not going to be great. And that's that. And I'm just going to be sitting in this low point or it's going to be so amazing. So I need to be happy and they're the one. No, just go in of anything can happen. Be present. Just let the date unfold. And this allows you to be less emotionally involved with the high highs and the low lows. Like I said, though, we're not cutting off our feelings, but we're centering and grounding ourselves to an emotional state that is grounded. Number 2, ignoring what is actually going on. This one's hard. Painting red flags green. I used to do this shit all the time. Why? Because I wanted it to work out so badly. Why? Because I felt like I was never going to meet somebody and I'd be single and alone forever. Feelings are not facts, but I'm going to tell you this right now. When you start to ignore what's actually happening because you want it to work, you're forcing solutions. That, my friend, is exhausting. And then, if you're anything like me, you would get into relationships with these people, or maybe you dated people a little too long, longer than you probably maybe would have and would have said goodbye after a first date because you're trying to force the solution. You're trying to be like, hey, I'm trying to make this work so I can just be done with dating and I can find somebody. That is so tiring and that is so exhausting. I also have the opposite of clients who cut things off too prematurely. That's a different type of self-sabotage here, but I'm going to say you need to be paying attention to what is actually going on. Because when the reality doesn't match the expectations of what's actually happening, that's where you get disappointed. And that's where your friend's like, are you sure you want to keep dating this person? They've got XYZ. I don't know about that. And you're like, oh my God, but they're great. They're great. Or you withhold information and you don't tell people or friends or family certain things or details about them because you know they call it out and you're kind of in that denial place. That is so tiring to manage. It is exhausting. And when you're trying to force dating to work, or it's exhausting to date people who you're painting red flags green, or you just aren't compatible in any type of way, but you keep forcing it and keep going, these are patterns. You might find yourself doing this over and over again. You're like, I don't get it. I don't understand why dating can't work out. It's just so exhausting. Yeah, of course, it's going to be fatiguing. Follow your gut if there's red flags. And be honest with yourself going into this. You need to pay attention to patterns and not just the potential of somebody. Number 3 is, hey, real quick, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want dating support, don't forget to look in the notes below where you can learn all about my guides and how to work with me. And if you want to follow me on my socials, you can find me anywhere at I am Carla Romo. Let's get turned on. Investing in inconsistency. I talk about consistency all the time. Consistency looks like, with dating, that the person is actually showing up. Okay, I'm just going to use this example because I think it's the easiest. I had a client who was going on dates with this guy. All right. And he was texting her back. He was setting up dates. They were mutually doing it. They were both invested and interested. I was like, this is green flags. This is great. Then I had another client. Okay. And she was dating this guy who was spotty, right? So the first date was set up. It was great. It was such a good date. She loved it. She was like, oh my God, he's awesome. So when it came time to set up the second date, he was like, so sorry, I'm just so busy this week at work. Totally get it, right? Once or twice, fine. And then over time, she was trying to make plans for that second date. And then he kind of like last minute was like, hey, I'm so sorry to do this. I know we talked about Thursday, but now I've got this work meeting. Could we push to next week? Fine. Okay, maybe one time, whatever. But then this started becoming a pattern where he would take days to get back to confirm, hey, are we still on for this time? Or are we still going to meet at this place at this time? That to me is inconsistency. And then his texting was either really great, he was really on it and texting her back, or then he'd go like a day and then be like, oh, yeah, haha, I agree with this too, and blah, blah, blah. He wouldn't even acknowledge that all this time had passed or that there was weird patterns here. So this client kept investing in the inconsistency because she wanted to what? She wanted it to work out. Don't care if you're a man or woman. When you're dating, you want something to work out. Why? Because you're intentionally dating. You want to meet somebody. You're really like wanting something to happen, especially if you're interested and you like this person. And this is where it can feel confusing because you're like, I don't know when to call it. I mean, I like this about them and we're getting along here, but when do I call it, Carla? When you have mixed signals or there's hot and cold, or you're starting to get anxious because you're not hearing from them, that is when you call it. And I know it's not black and white because why? Life doesn't work in black and white. Dating definitely does not work in black and white. And this is where it can feel confusing. But if you start to check in with yourself of how you're actually feeling, do you feel secure? Are you feeling anxious? Do you feel like now because they're taking a long time to text back, you want to retaliate? And maybe you don't look at it as retaliation, but you look at it as now I'm going to hold out and kind of like wait a little bit and play the game back. No. That is inconsistency. And that is investing in inconsistency. Even if you start to become inconsistent back, now you've invested in whatever this back and forth bullshit is because you don't want that. You want something real. You want something intentional. And the more you keep showing up, the more disappointed you're going to get, the more exhausting it's going to feel. And then you're going to be through this whirlwind of investing in this inconsistency. And by the end, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm exhausted. I never want to date again. Or everybody's like this. All women out there are like this. All men out there are like this, right? You know exactly those thoughts and what I'm talking about right here. And it is so freaking tiring. Okay, the idea is that we do not want to take you on this roller coaster. It's tiring AF when you get those highs and those lows. You want consistency. And if they ain't giving it to you, girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever's listening to Carla Turned On right now, what do guys say? I know in like the UK, they call them mate. All right, girlfriend or mate. That's awkward. I don't know. What do guys, dude? All right, girlfriend or dude. And that's also awkward. I don't think guys have a universal like, all right, girly, like, no, they don't. They abso-fucking-lutely don't. Could you imagine guys like nicknaming each other like little like nicknames like, hey boy? Could you imagine like, hey boy, what's going on? I mean, hey, any dudes out there want to start bringing it out and break it out? Like, I'm totally down for it. I think it's awesome, but it's just kind of funny to think about like women have all these like kind of like slang like nicknames for each other and guys don't for each other. So that's interesting. All right. But to wrap this up, long story short, TLDR, wherever you want to go with this, slower pacing helps with exhaustion around dating and feeling burned out, making it work for you versus trying to force something. And lastly, choose people who show up because you're showing up. And please, for the love of God, just take the boarded up plywood off the windows. They are a false sense of having control over a situation that is so vulnerable. Your house is safe. You just gotta be able to get into a place mentally where you're looking out for you and you're taking care of yourself and showing up fully and making dating work for you. It ain't about doing more in dating, it's about doing it differently. All right, we have arrived. Taco baby. Imagine, like I said, okay, we're gonna get the tacos out right now and we're just gonna start cooking. I mean, I like this idea. I think we might be going, I think I might be onto something. All of a sudden it's like Carla Romo gets rebranded into like cooking show, cooking with Carla, tacos with Carla. and then everybody goes to watch the taco show and they're like, whoa, what is she talking about? She's making corn tortilla, corn tortillas right here on the side, but then she's talking about coming in orgasms. This is a little uncomfortable. Surprise a lot of people. They would be probably very shocked. But I digress. All right, let's get into exactly what we're going to be diving into, which is how hookup culture is making you feel replaceable. Remember, I'm quoting all the songs. Remember Irreplaceable? Beyonce? Yeah. Okay, so here's the deal, all right? You want to be feeling irreplaceable, right? You don't want to feel replaceable. The idea of hookup culture and where everything is kind of stemmed from can feel very negative. Now, I have nothing wrong with if you just want to hook up with somebody, do it. I don't care, right? And I'm going to be honest with you. If you are just hooking up with somebody, you need to communicate that you do not want intentionally anything else or anything other than just friends with benefits or just to hook up here or there or one night stand, whatever. You don't want to lead somebody on to thinking, oh my gosh, we keep sleeping together and we spend all this time together on the weekends, but over here doesn't want an actual relationship. It is important if you're in the state of life to be able to communicate your needs and tell them so that there's clarity. So basically everybody is on the same page. And the truth is a lot of people are fine with casual. They think they are until all of a sudden they start to feel differently about it. They become emotionally invested. I have a friend who started out just hooking up with who's now their boyfriend. And she liked to hook up with him. She was like, it's fine. It's nothing serious. And then all of a sudden they caught feelings. Now they're great and compatible together. So it's not just like they hooked up and then fell into a relationship. But here is the catch. Most people, there's a chemical process. There's science and psychology. Most people get men and women, I know I keep interrupting myself, men and women both can feel attachment through having sex or hooking up. You don't have to just have penetrative sex, okay? You can have sex in other ways, but hooking up with somebody. All right. I'm going to say this right now. What's going to make you feel replaceable in hookup culture is acting chill about sex when you're not. And this can even be when you are intentionally dating. Okay. I am going to call out my husband right now. Hi. And he's not listening to this episode, I bet. If he is, shout out to you. Thanks for being my supporter. And he supports me in very many ways, but I don't know if he'll listen to this episode. But you know this inside information now. So when we first were dating, before we slept together, he's the one that initiated a conversation around sex and talking about his boundaries and how he doesn't look at sex as like us hooking up with other people. If we're going to like do this, he wants to make sure it's exclusively sexual between us. I was like mad fucking respect. And I thought that was hot. I was like, oh my God, for once, I don't have to bring up the conversation around like, hey, I don't want to be sleeping with other people. He brought it up. And I'm going to tell you right now, that was such a turn on, like emotionally, physically, like all the turn ons, right? I was like, whoa, this is cool. So I'm just going to put that out there right now, that when you are chill about it and you're just kind of like, oh, whatever, and don't talk about it, then you're setting yourself up to be replaced. You're setting yourself up for it to be okay that the other person's sleeping with someone else. I have clients who do not mind if the person they're hooking up with and getting to know and dating is also hooking up with somebody else because maybe they're going on dates with other people and they just don't care. However, I'd say the majority of my clients are wanting at least sexual exclusivity when they're dating and not it to feel like hookup culture. Because otherwise, if you're too chill, it feels just like hookup culture. The other thing that can make you feel replaceable in hookup culture, confusing attention with connection. So this is why I also say, there's a lot of communicating going on here if you don't pick that up yet. This is why I also say, when you're dating somebody and say you guys sleep together on the first date or the second date, you don't want it to feel like, oh, we're just hooking up, or now this is vulnerable. We slept together. Maybe this is all they want. No, you want to have a conversation around, hey, obviously I know we slept together. I really liked it. It's fun, but I'm also intentionally dating. Like I want to get to know you because I want a serious relationship. Like, where are you at? Because if they're like hesitant and they're saying, well, I'm still not unsure of like really like how committed I want to be because of my ex and I's breakup. I'm still kind of grieving that. Or, oh, like, I don't know. I'm kind of like just kind of feeling the vibes out. Right there, that's an indication that this person could turn into a hookup, right? And then and here's the thing, hookup culture is completely acceptable. People just, it's kind of like a thing where people are like, yeah, okay, we're just hooking up. We're just whatever. But if you're intentionally dating and you don't want to feel that replaceable piece of the hookup culture, have a conversation with them around like what your intentions are beyond just having sex or doing other things that are fun. And then I'm going to throw this one out there that can feel really hard. This is for men and women. You have sex with someone and then they end things very quickly after, and that can make you feel like, oh, they just wanted to hook up, or it's just like I'm replaceable. We don't know unless they explicitly told you. We don't know why they did that. Sometimes people's attachment styles are activated. They're avoidant and they have sex and all of a sudden things get real, whatever. Or maybe their intentions weren't as serious, which can feel really shitty. Okay. They weren't as serious or as intentional about dating or getting to know you. But I think what's important to kind of look at here is that it can feel shitty, all right? And it can really not feel great. This is what I'm going to tell you. It's vulnerable having sex. It's vulnerable hooking up with somebody. And especially when you are seriously dating and there's this other side of hookup culture and people can just so easily end things. If somebody ends things after you guys have hooked up and you're just like, damn, I don't feel good about myself, tell yourself this, it is not personal. And what I mean by that is that person chose just to kind of walk away for whatever reasons they needed to. All right? It's not about you. Obviously, unless you did something that was wrong or hurtful or uncomfortable. But look, let's look at you right now, okay? Like, as long as you check out and you didn't do these things and things were going well and then you guys hooked up and then it just kind of ended, it's not about you. And it's really hard to take that narrative on, like, I'm doing something wrong or I fucked this up or it's my fault. It's not. It takes two to tango, no pun intended. So if we are looking at it from that perspective, you have to be easy on yourself. You have to be kind to yourself when this piece comes in, because otherwise you feel like, oh, they'll just go on to someone else. I guess, then now I'm holding out from having sex entirely, right? And then you get back in that house again. You board up the walls with that plywood, right? That illusion of control. And you're just like, okay, here I am just sitting there in the house alone. And this is the way I like it because it keeps me safe. No, we don't want you to board up the house. What I want you to do is to allow yourself time to grieve and feel and to experience the feelings of like, oh, I'm replaceable, but not sit in that narrative and get yourself out of that narrative, because that's going to help you be able to move on and continue to date in a way that's not making you tired AF. And at the end of the day, if anybody that you are seeing or you are dating or hooking up with, when you go to have this clarity talk and conversations with them about intentionality around dating and they're not on the same page, just remember, you are not too much. You might just want something more intentional, and you will find that. Loved this episode? Rate it 5 stars, hit that subscribe button, baby, and leave a review. Do you want to work with me? Grab my dating courses, apply for my coaching at carlaromo.com or find it all in the show notes, and give me a little follow at I am Carla Romo on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Catch you next time and stay tuned. Carla Turned On is for educational and entertainment purposes only. This is not a substitute for therapy. For professional support, please reach out to a licensed mental health provider.